maxcharge.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a little range test on the Anioki A8 Pro Max dual motor. This thing is a beast. And I figure while I'm doing that, I can record some other videos. And I did want to talk to you guys about a very special e-bike. Some of you guys might call it an e-bike. An electric dirt bike called the altissigma that I have ordered and will be on the channel coming this December. For the longest time, my channel has been all about electric bicycles with pedals. Some of them have more power than others. I know you guys like the high-powered ones a lot, and I love them too. But I went ahead and ordered this bike for a lot of different reasons. As someone who likes electric bicycles, part of me was even reluctant to order this bike. And today we're going to talk about why I ordered that bike as someone who really prefers electric bicycles with pedals, and why I ended up just getting that. Because what I originally wanted to do was build my own super high-powered e-bike, and here's kind of how my thought process went. So what I wanted to do was build my own custom high-power e-bike that was able to do 60 miles an hour, maybe 65 comfortably. Now, realistically, I'll be going really at top speed of 50 miles an hour on most roads, but it's nice to have a little bit extra just in case you need it. We're not going to be going on the highway or anything like that. So I thought to myself, okay, I need a frame that could withstand those forces if I ever do hit a pothole going 50, maybe 60 miles an hour. I need a frame that can withstand those forces. So I wanted a steel frame, and I was looking around, especially for full suspension ones. There are very few steel frames in a reasonable price range. So I didn't know what I was going to do. On top of that, the type of motor that I wanted to use was a mid-drive motor, and there aren't many motors out there besides the Cyclone motor that can give me a whole lot of power that I wanted. Because I wanted a lot of power. I wanted more than 10,000 watts. And I know the CYC motors are out there, but I don't think they can really handle that much power. I wanted a mid-drive because I'm trying to stay away from unsprung weight. A giant, heavy hub motor is not ideal for a rear suspension e-bike. Your suspension performance is going to dramatically go down with that much weight moving around. And it would go down even more if there's a rear rack attached to the swing arm of that bike. And then you put stuff on that rack. That rear suspension is going to struggle moving around. So that's why I wanted a mid-drive full suspension setup. Now, to feed that monstrously sized high-power motor, I would need a giant controller and, even more importantly, a giant battery with high-quality cells. Now, I'm fine with all of that, but now you need giant brakes. So I'd probably have to install motorcycle brakes on that bike with heavy-duty wheels that have heavy-duty spokes. And you guys see where I'm going with this. The end result would essentially be a high-powered electric dirt bike. It would be fast, it would have great range, but it would be very, very heavy. It'd be very expensive, probably more than the altissigma. Yeah, it would have pedals, but they would be token pedals. In my opinion, anything after a few kilowatts of power, pedals are just there for show. And they would also be there for, I suppose, legal reasons. And yes, I am going to be that guy to try and throw on a pedal kit on the altissigma. You guys can hate me all you want. The amount of time it would take for me to continue doing research and to build that custom DIY bike would be a whole lot. I don't even have time to finish the bikes that I have now. I'm slowly chipping away at them. I have the GOAT bike I still have to finish. That's coming along pretty well, but I still have to finish that. I got a bunch of other e-bikes that I'm constantly needing to review, so I might even never get around to finishing a bike like that. Plus, anything I would build, I wouldn't really have an easy way to get warranty coverage. Maybe the parts individually I would get a warranty on, but I can't easily get a warranty on the whole bike. So now you guys see all the reasons that led me to just purchase the altissigma. That thing is $5,500. Seems like it'll go upwards of 75, maybe 80 miles an hour. Not that you would ever consistently go that speed, but it's nice to know that you have that available extra speed in case you ever need it. It's got a ton of power. 20,000 watts it's wild. When that bike was announced, it made so many other bikes' power levels just almost like a joke. It's almost double the power of a lot of other e-motos out there, which is just wild. I still can't wrap my head around the power of that bike. Oh, check out the skeleton with 2 dogs. That is a nice setup. Something else that I realized very early on when I got my very first e-bike, which was the Aerial Rider Kepler, is I need a bike with enough power to scare me. And what I mean by that is you get your first e-bike, let's say it goes 30 miles an hour. You get used to that speed very quickly, and then you want something else. You want something that goes 35, and then you want something that goes 40, and then 45. And it's almost never enough until the bike literally scares you with how much power it has. So that's another reason why I just went with the altissigma. As someone who started with e-bikes, I'm just gonna go all out. I highly doubt I will ever need to upgrade that bike in terms of how much power it has. A lot of other surrons and talarias that people buy, they have to put thousands of dollars of upgrades into the bike. And even still, even after that, you still won't get as much power as the altissigma. So from a power perspective, I would say that bike has plenty of power, more than you'll ever need. And going 80 miles an hour on something that light would probably scare the hell out of me. And if I ever do go that fast on that bike, it might just be one time just to show you guys on video the top speed of that bike. I don't even know where I would test the top speed of that bike, because my usual top speed route, the speed limit, I think is 35 miles an hour, and I am not going to fly down that road going 80 miles an hour. Building an e-bike with a bicycle frame that can perform as well as the altissigma, it would end up looking like an e-moto. Like, for example, the Cyclone bike I was looking to get, they call it the Big Boy or something like that. 20,000 watts, stealth bomber frame. That pretty much looks like a surron. It's got motorcycle forks, motorcycle brakes. And something else that's really important to me is to have a removable battery, which the altissigma does. Has a huge battery, by the way. Bigger than the Talaria MX-5, bigger than the E-Ride Pro. I've seen in some groups a lot of people are confused with, oh, it says it has 35 amp hours, whereas the E-Ride Pro and the MX-5 have 40. You have to remember that if you calculate voltage in, the altissigma has a much bigger battery than the other two bikes, because 98 times 35 gives you way more watt hours than 72 times 40. So if you're using the same amount of power, let's say going 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour on the altissigma, you will have much more range on that bike than the Talaria or the E-Ride bike. Especially considering they say the altissigma uses a special motor, a hairpin motor I think it's called, which they say is more efficient than some of the other motors out there. The stealth bomber frame of that Cyclone bike has a battery in the compartment that is not all that easily removable, so that's one of the reasons I did not go that route. What's nice about the removable battery is that I can take that battery out and make my bike now 40 pounds lighter, which makes it a lot easier to transport on a car rack or bring it up and down the stairs. On top of that, the weight of a fully custom high-powered DIY bike that's comparable in performance to the Sigma with the same size battery as the Sigma would end up weighing pretty close to what the Sigma weighs, at least 150 pounds. The downside about getting that bike is that it straight up just looks like a dirt bike. I am going to take the plastic parts off of that bike, and maybe that'll help. I will be that guy to put on a pedal kit as soon as I can, even though it is ridiculous and outrageous. It will help with the legality of that bike, even if it's a little bit. So hopefully my bike doesn't get impounded. And with that bike, I will be doing some mods to it. Probably new tires, something that's better suited for the roads and light off-roading. I'm going to be showing you guys how to use that bike, not really wheeling it around, just cruising around, not doing anything crazy, no jumps, no drops. So if you get a bike like that, you don't have to do wheelies, you don't have to do tricks, you don't have to do anything crazy on it. You could just use that bike like a normal e-bike if you want. In fact, I want to commute on that bike to work and back, maybe take it to the gym. I want to show you guys how you can use that bike just like you would a normal e-bike. The other downside is that, yes, it does look a lot like a motorcycle, more so than any other e-bike I've ever had. So I would probably never take that bike on a rail trail with pedestrians unless I absolutely had to, unless there was no other way. And if I do that, it's only going to be for a very short time. I would just feel very out of place with that bike on a rail trail. If you guys do want to check out this bike, it is listed in the description below. I did order that bike at full price from the guys over at Rev Rides. They were kind enough to give me an affiliate link, so if you use the link in the description below to order something from their site, it will help the channel at no extra cost to you. More specifically, it's going to help pay for mods for that bike. So if you guys want to see how to mod that bike, what kind of mods to do on that bike, stay tuned for future videos, because I will be riding that bike a lot and modding it a lot. And I'm specifically going to be making videos geared, once again, towards normal e-bikers, people who aren't going to be doing crazy riding around town. So those are all the reasons why I went with the altissigma instead of a fully custom DIY build that might have similar performance. You guys let me know in the comments below, what do you think of those reasons? What do you think of the altissigma? How do you think it's going to go? Will I get my bike impounded? Let me know in the comments below. And by the way, this is my first e-moto, especially first very high power e-moto. If you guys want to give me any tips and tricks on how to stay safe and stay whole on a bike like that, if you guys are e-moto riders, let me know in the comments below. I am planning on staying as safe as possible on that bike, but any advice you guys have is always appreciated. So that's it for today's video. I just wanted to ride around and talk about that bike a bit. Until next time.